Yankee Do It is definitely a very interesting Warner Brothers cartoon and nothing like what I would have expected. And I have to say, because of that, it was pretty interesting. This is a 1956 cartoon directed by Friz Freleng and written by Warren Foster. And we have Mel Blanc voicing Sylvester, Daws Butler as the Shoemaker, Arthur Q. Bryan as Elmer Fudd. Yes, Elmer Fudd and Sylvester. It does happen, but not that common as a combination, and I think it works quite well. Elmer Fudd is actually playing the King of the Elves, which is a role he actually looks really good in. I love the design of the elves' outfits, I think they look great. And he learns that the elves are still helping the shoemaker, even though, as he says, 150 years later, it's the then 20th century. Why isn't he just mass producing things? And we see this elf with the shoemaker, and there are some magic words that the shoemaker can say in order to turn the elves into mice. And the shoemaker doesn't intend on saying this, but Sylvester overhears this and tricks the shoemaker into saying this word to turn this elf into a mouse, which is something that didn't need to be in the narrative, and I kind of wonder why they decided to add that extra layer in. But to be honest, it did work, and I thought it was quite interesting. It just made it such a varied, unpredictable cartoon. The other side of it is Elmer Fudd and the elves trying to convince the shoemaker to mass produce things, and he spouts out all of these benefits to mass producing, and the fact that you can produce things in bulk and sell them more cheaply, get more money, pay your workers more. I thought, yeah, you're making mass production sound really appealing. Of course, that's not always the case, but I thought it was definitely an really interesting idea. Not at all like I was expecting. Elmer Fudd really suits the role. It's really well animated. I love the design of the shoemaker. I thought he looked great. Having Sylvester in there was unnecessary, but it worked. I don't know if it should work, but it did. It's definitely a very interesting, very different and unique story, and very well animated. So because of that, I really enjoyed it. If you like cartoons that are maybe a little bit different, or indeed if you like Elves and the Shoemaker, it's one of my childhood favourite stories. I used to have a book of it. I think it might have been a Ladybird book, but it had the most gorgeous illustrations in either way, and ever since then I loved the story. So I was really looking forward to this when I realised it was about the Elves and the Shoemaker. It's probably the most different version of the story I've ever seen, but it worked really well, and needless to say, I'd watch it again, and I do recommend it.